Imagine waking up one day, opening your app, and finding out the money you trusted a company to protect is simply gone. Not stolen by some anonymous hacker in the shadows, but frozen, locked, or lost by the very exchange you believed in. That's not a nightmare. That's a harsh reality that has repeated itself in the crypto space, and it serves as a powerful reminder for every investor. Welcome back to Crypto 101 Central. Before we dive into this, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss an urgent update like this one, because understanding risk is what keeps your portfolio alive in this industry. Now let's talk about what has been unfolding across the market landscape, because it carries immense weight. BitMEX, historically one of the largest digital asset derivatives exchanges in the world, a platform that handled volumes well into the trillions of dollars over its peak years, recently announced a major wind down of its services, signaling to users to migrate their funds safely. Let that sink in for a moment. An exchange that so many people trusted, that formed a cornerstone of early high-volume trading, is now reminding everyone of the inherent risks of counterparty reliance. To add to that tension, legal proceedings and class action disputes have surfaced surrounding liquidation practices, with users alleging forced position closes that collectively involve tens of millions of dollars in capital. Tens of millions of real people's capital, impacted in what felt like an instant. But here's the broader truth we need to absorb. This isn't just about one company shifting its operations. It's a mirror reflecting a fundamental structural question in how we interact with central financial platforms. No matter how large, established, or permanent an exchange seems, centralized platforms carry structural risk. And when platforms face regulatory pressures, liquidity squeezes, or operational shifts, user confidence takes the hit. We've seen this pattern before in past cycles, and history suggests that as long as third parties hold assets, counterparty risk remains a factor. Remember the collapse of FTX? Billions of dollars in user deposits became unreachable due to balance sheet mismanagement. Remember the Celsius bankruptcy? Payouts froze, locking billions in assets belonging to everyday investors and families looking for long-term yields. And looking further back to MT, GOX, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin vanished from hot wallets, assets worth hundreds of millions at the time and tens of billions in today's market value, evaporated into complex legal bankruptcy proceedings. So we have to ask ourselves, at what point do we reassess how we manage risk? At what point do we stop assuming that size alone guarantees total safety? Consider the history of leveraged trading. Extreme leverage mechanisms, allowing traders to multiply exposure far beyond their base margin, unlocked incredible upside potential, but also exposed users to rapid, catastrophic liquidations during volatile swings. When market conditions turn, high leverage environments can quickly turn against the very participants using them. If you had told a trader years ago at the peak of early exchange volumes that these massive platforms would eventually face shutdowns or major restructuring, many would have dismissed it as impossible. But the reality of digital assets is that centralized entities face unique regulatory, security, and operational hurdles. In many ways, centralized exchanges quietly recreated the exact intermediary models that decentralized technology was originally designed to innovate beyond. Think about that core philosophy for a second. The original ethos of blockchain technology was to reduce unnecessary middlemen, offering individuals direct cryptographic ownership of their value. Instead, as the industry grew, centralized exchanges naturally became the primary entry point, modern financial portals offering a convenient user experience. At first, they functioned simply as direct bridges between buyers and sellers. Over time, they expanded into full-service hubs, offering lending products, custodial yield, integrated payment solutions, and complex order books, behaving much like traditional financial institutions, but operating in a rapidly evolving regulatory space. Exchanges perform an important service. They make digital assets accessible to millions of people who otherwise might never have entered the space. But there is a massive operational difference between using an exchange as a temporary transaction tool and relying on it as a permanent secure vault for your entire net worth. Across the entire history of the market, between security breaches, operational failures, insolvencies, and fraud, tens of billions of dollars in user assets have been tied up or lost globally. That isn't just an abstract financial metric, or it represents real human effort, savings, and long-term financial plans. Even legacy platforms like Kraken have stated the principle clearly to their users. Exchanges are trading execution venues, not long-term storage wallets. Yet many market participants still treat central platforms like insured savings accounts. Beyond full platform insolvencies, there are routine operational risks, sudden compliance checks, account freezes, or regional access shifts that temporarily lock users out of their balances. Across the industry, nearly every major platform has had to pause services or restrict accounts at various points due to evolving legal and operational frameworks. People love repeating the phrase, "Crypto is decentralized. I control my money." But technically and practically, that statement is only true when you hold your private keys. In blockchain architecture, whoever controls the private keys controls the underlying assets on-chain. When your funds sit on a centralized exchange, the platform holds the keys, meaning your access is ultimately subject to their terms, regulatory obligations, and operational health. While there is no single perfect setup for everyone, and every option carries trade-offs, relying solely on third-party trust contradicts the core security advantages of blockchain technology. Investors who have spent years navigating market cycles have often experienced frozen withdrawals or account delays firsthand across various platforms, whether due to platform maintenance, compliance reviews, or regional licensing shifts. We see this happening right now as regulatory frameworks like MiCA in Europe tighten requirements, leading major exchanges like Binance to adjust or pause specific service offerings in regions where local licensing is still pending. The digital asset class is maturing, and these structural growing pains are part of its evolution toward greater compliance and institutional integration. During periods of regulatory transition and market recalibration, taking proactive steps toward asset security becomes critical. For many long-term participants, that realization leads directly to self-custody. Deciding to hold private keys directly via hardware or non-custodial wallets rather than leaving assets exposed on third-party servers. If your primary goals in this market are 1. Long-term wealth preservation, 2. Building assets intended for future generations, or 3. Maintaining direct, uninterrupted control over your capital, then learning self-custody is one of the most important technical skills you can develop. It means that you, and only you, hold the cryptographic keys to your assets. Not an exchange, not a custodian, but you. This doesn't mean avoiding exchanges completely. They remain essential venues for fiat onboarding, liquidity, and trading execution. But for long-term holding, transferring assets to personal non-custodial wallets eliminates counterparty risk and aligns with the foundational principles of the technology. If this video brought you value and helped clarify how to protect your portfolio, hit that like button. It really helps Crypto 101 Central reach more investors who need this guidance. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced withdrawal delays or account freezes on an exchange? And have you moved towards self-custody yet? If you want to learn step-by-step how to set up secure self-custody and protect your holdings for the long run, check out the video on your screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Stay safe out there, and thank you for watching Crypto 101 Central.